So we're going to keep practicing one-step equation word problems today. I have a few problems that we can go over together. Hopefully we'll have time to get through all of them, but if not, then you can look over them and see if there's any that you're struggling with. These would be calculator active questions, so most of them. So you are allowed to use a calculator to help you. Once again, for the sake of the ease of this video, I'm going to use the blue calculator. But remember, feel free to use the Desmos calculator on the computer because that's probably what you'll have to use on the EOG. So let's go and get started. Which value of x from the set, this right here, makes the equation true? Okay, so in other words, they're giving you possible answers and we have to plug them in to see which one's actually going to make it true. So this is like a substitution problem. We have to substitute every single one of these in until we get one that actually works. All right, so I'm going to see, we're going to start with 8. It doesn't really matter which one you start with. So 8 minus 3 to the second power. And let's see if it equals 64. So 8 minus 3 is 5. 5 to the second power is 25. So this does not work out. So it can't be A. Okay, let's try 11. So 11 minus 3 second power. Okay, 11 minus 3 is 8. 8 to the second power is 64, and that does equal 64. So, just like that, I've already got an answer. Okay? Next one. Kim drove K miles to see her family. So in other words, we don't know how many miles Kim drove. They're just saying she drove this number of miles. Tran drove 3 times as far as Kim to get to his family's city, plus another 28 miles to get to their house. Which expression represents the number of miles Tran drove? So this isn't a problem that you're actually solving. You're just trying to figure out which expression would get you the right answer. So a couple things we need to pick up on is I see the word times and I see the word plus. So I know that my problem has to have multiplication and addition going on in it. So if I look at my answer choices, addition, multiplication, remember this is really multiplication right here because 3 and k means you're multiplying. So 3 times k, that's multiplication and addition. Multiplication, addition, this is multiplication and multiplication. So I already know that D cannot be it because it doesn't have any addition going on. So now let's look back at what the problem is really saying. So it says Tran drove 3 times as far as Kim. Okay, well, how far did Kim drive? Kim drove k miles. So I need to do 3 times k because it says he drove 3 times as far. So 3 times as far. And then plus 28. Okay, so which one of these looks like this right here? And hopefully you're agreeing that it would be B right here. Okay, this one you're adding k and multiplying 3 times 28. This one you're adding 3 and 28. So hopefully I mentioned this back when we did translating expressions. When you see it as multiple choice questions, you'll kind of see which ones don't make much sense. All right, next one. Sarah sells painted flower pots for $28.50. If she made a total of $513, which equation can be used to find the number of flower pots Sarah sold? So for me, there's 2 different ways to do this one. First of all, think about this. Think about how you would solve it. Like if they asked you to actually find the answer. So find the answer of how many pots Sarah sold. What would you do to solve that? Okay? And hopefully you're telling me that you would divide. Okay? So automatically you jump to looking at C and D. But remember, and this is where it's tricky, remember with a one-step equation, we actually did the inverse. So if I know that I need to divide, then in the problem, it's really going to look like multiplication. So in the problem, it's really going to look like A or B. Okay? So that's one thing, one trick that you can use. Remember, figure out how you would solve it, and then remember it's the inverse of that. Or what I really recommend is to actually solve it. Solve the problem, okay? So in other words, I know that I need to do 513 divided by 2850, and that's going to give me 18. So the answer is that P equals 18, okay? But remember, it doesn't want to know that. But to get the answer, you can plug this in, and whichever one actually works out, that's your answer choice. So what I mean by that is, I'm going to plug in 18 right here. So 513 times 18 gives me 9,234. That's definitely not that right there. So that can't be right. All right, let's try B. 28.5 times, remember I got 18 for P, and it does give me 513. So that's looking like a good answer choice because it actually worked out. But let's just double check the other ones. So remember, right here, this is division. I got 18 for P, so 18 divided by 28.5 definitely does not give me 513. All right, let's try this one. 28.5 divided by 18, once again, doesn't give me 513, so it has to be B. So in other words, for these problems, what I'm telling you to do is what I recommend is actually figure out the answer and then plug that answer into the answer choices to see which one actually works out. Only one is going to work out, and that one would have to be the right answer. All right, for this one, don't jump to the conclusion. A lot of people will see these problems and automatically think, okay, I see a 4, I see a 36, the other number has to be a 9. But remember, that's not what you're supposed to do. All right, this is a one-step equation. All right, so instead of doing x divided by 4, I need to do the inverse. All right, so instead of dividing by 4, I really need to multiply by 4. So if I multiply this side by 4, I multiply this side by 4, these are going to cancel out, okay? 36 times 4, if you're not sure, you can use the calculator. So 36 times 4 gives me 144. So it has to be A. All right. Let's try another one. All right, so this one right here says, what's the value of x in the equation 2/3 x equals 24? So you have to think about what are 2/3 and x doing. So I'm going to write it a little bigger. 2/3 x equals 24. So 2/3 and x are multiplying. So remember, you need to do the inverse, so you're actually going to divide. So I'm going to write this a different one. Okay? And whatever you do to one side, you have to do to the other side. So remember, when you divide these right here, they're going to cancel each other out. So now I just need to solve 24 divided by 2/3. So remember, when you're dividing fractions, you have to keep change flip. So it's going to be 24 over 1, sorry, can't see, times, flip that, so it's going to be 3 over 2. All right. We can, we don't have, some of you don't like to cross cancel, some of you don't, so I won't do that. So we can just multiply it if you want to. So 24 times 3 over 2 is going to leave me with 36. So it has to be, scoot back over here, has to be C. All right, I'm going to skip over this one because it's pretty simple. It's a one-step equation. Obviously, all you'd have to do is plus 27 here and plus 27 here to solve that, and hopefully you would get your answer of 54, okay? This one, let's see. So way back to proportions, remember for proportions you had to cross multiply, okay? So I can't do anything with this 9 and n right now because n, I don't know what n is, but I can do the 6 and 15. So if I do 6 times 15, that equals 90. So remember, proportion is kind of like an equation. They have to equal the same thing on both sides. So I know this side needs to equal 90. Well, what times 9 is going to give me 90, and that's going to be 10. All right, let's try 8. Lucy and 6 friends bought tickets to the movies. The total amount for the tickets was $64.75. What was the cost of each ticket? Okay, this is another one that, well, this one doesn't want to know the equation. It actually wants to know the real answer. But here's where your people are going to mess up. It says Lucy and 6 friends, okay? So that's a total of how many people, and hopefully you're telling me that it's 7. Once again, this would be a calculator active question. So we would need to divide 64.75 by 7, and that tells me that it is 925. But let me show you 64.75 divided by 6 10.7, and look, they put that answer because, oh, you couldn't see anything on the calculator, I'm sorry. They put that answer because they're counting on you messing this up and thinking that it's only 6 friends instead of 7. Because remember, you have to include Lucy. Remember, I put the 64.75 first because it's money, and money always goes first. You want to take care of your money. Okay? So for this one, we've got, where is it? Sorry. So it says 7 times, I'll write it bigger so you can see. So 7 times R minus 12 equals 8 plus 3 times R. So in other words, it's asking you, what number can we plug in for R that is going to work for both sides? So like what you get over here is going to match what you get over here. It doesn't matter which one you start with. We just have to try all of them until one actually works. So we can start with 1. All right, so if I plug in a 1 right here, 7 times 1 is 7, obviously, and then 7 minus 12 would be a negative 5. Let me do the same thing over here. Plug in a 1. I would have to do 3 times 1 first because order of operations is 3. 3 plus 8 does not give me negative 5, so 1 cannot be right. All right, let's try 2. I'll write this one out because I know it's hard to follow as I'm seeing. So I'll write it over here. 7 times 2 minus 12, and then this side would be 8 plus 3 times 2. Okay? Order of operations, let me do this first. So that's 14 minus 12, that's 2. If I do this side, it would be 6 plus 8, which is 14. And those two things do not equal each other. So 2 cannot be right either. I'll cross out 2. All right, let me try 4. Let me use a different color so hopefully you can see. So I would do 7 times 4 minus 12 equals 8 plus 3 times 4. So 7 times 4 is 28 minus 12. 28 minus 12 would be 16. If I do this side, that would be 12, and then 12 plus 8 is 20, so it can't be that either. So hopefully we're going to see that it is 5. Let's double check. I'll do this one over here, I guess. So 7 times 5 minus 12 equals 8 plus 3 times 5. All right, so 7 times 5 is 35 minus 12. 35 minus 12 is 43. Oh, I just added that. I'm sorry. It's not 43. Ignore that. 23, sorry. And then this side, if I do this first, that's going to be 15, and then 15 plus 8 also equals 23, so yes, that one has to be the right answer. All right. Trying to see which one. I'll do one real quick. I will do 11 real quick. So it's 2/3. Can you see 11? There it is. Oh, sorry, wrong way. 2/3 x equals 3/4. So remember, 2/3 and x are multiplying, so I actually need to divide. So I'm going to draw a big line, divide by 2/3, because you always do the inverse. All right, these two are going to cancel out. I'm going to have 3/4 divided by 2/3. I need to keep change flip, so keep change flip. I would get 9/8. And if we change that to a mixed number, it's 1 1/8, which would be D. All right. So that's just some quick one-step equation word problems. The couple that we didn't do, if you want to look over those and let me know if you have any issues with those.